Hey, welcome. Over the next few minutes, we're going to build a blueprint for something every single organization needs, but let's be honest, very few actually have real, genuine resilience. We're going to break down how any group, from a tiny nonprofit to a giant corporation, can get ready to face a crisis and not just get through it, but actually come out stronger on the other side. I mean, it's the ultimate stress test, isn't it? A flood, a cyber attack, a global pandemic. Some organizations just seem to bend and then snap, while others, they almost seem to thrive on the pressure. So what's their secret? Well, it turns out it's not a secret at all. It's a strategy. And that is exactly what we are going to unpack today. Okay, so our journey to building a disaster-proof organization kicks off right here with Section 1, Understanding the Risk. Think of it like this. You would never build a house without surveying the land first, right? You gotta know if you're building on solid rock or shifting sand. It's the same principle. And surveying that landscape really just means asking a few really tough questions. First up, what could actually go wrong here? We talking earthquakes, power outages, major supply chain disruptions? That's your hazard identification. Next, you have to ask, okay, how exposed are we to each of those things? That's your vulnerability analysis. Then, what would the actual damage be if it happened? That's your impact analysis. And finally, you put it all together to evaluate the risk, mixing likelihood with severity, so you can figure out what you need to worry about first. But the key thing to get here is that vulnerability isn't just about what's happening out there. It's about looking in the mirror. It's asking those hard questions. Where are we weak? Is it our physical building, our cybersecurity, the training our people have? Understanding your own weak points is, without a doubt, the first step to being able to protect them. So, once you've surveyed the land, you're ready for Section 2, creating the strategic blueprint. We've identified the dangers, now it's time to actually design a structure that can stand up to them. And you know, one of the most powerful tools for this is something you've probably seen a million times, the good old SWOT analysis. But when you look at it through the lens of a crisis, it takes on a whole new meaning. Your strengths, like having a team full of veterans, become your first line of defense. Your weaknesses, like a tight budget, are the exact points where things could fail. And those external opportunities and threats, well, they're what shape your entire strategy for long-term survival. And this is absolutely crucial. This isn't just some academic exercise you do to tick a box. A good SWOT analysis translates directly into a to-do list. You use your strengths, you patch up your weaknesses, you jump on opportunities like new tech, and you build walls to defend against threats like budget cuts. This is the moment where the abstract plan turns into concrete action. All right, we've got our blueprint. So welcome to Section 3, Powering the Response Machine. Now we get into the real nuts and bolts, building the internal systems and the financial structures that are actually going to have to run when a crisis hits. And this brings up a really critical insight. A resilient organization is just a healthy organization, day in and day out. Things like strong financial management, clear governance, effective HR. These aren't just back-office functions. In a disaster, they are the engine room that keeps the whole ship running. If even one of these core functions is weak, the entire response machine can just grind to a halt. Now, when it comes to financial risk, there are basically two ways to play it, and getting the difference is key. Risk transfer is basically insurance. You pay someone else to take the financial hit if something bad happens. Risk mitigation, on the other hand, is all about trying to stop the bad thing from happening in the first place. Like installing fire sprinklers or having strong safety protocols. A truly resilient organization has to have a smart mix of both. And hey, let's not forget that financial institutions are major partners in all this. They do way more than just provide loans or insurance. They are data powerhouses, offering really sophisticated risk analysis and modeling. And when a disaster does strike, they are absolutely critical for funding the recovery and helping entire communities rebuild. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, unleashing your people power. I mean, you can have the best plans in the world and the strongest infrastructure, but without a motivated, cohesive crew, none of it matters. This is all about the human element. You know, any team, especially one under a ton of pressure, goes through this pretty predictable life cycle. First, they're just forming, getting to know each other. Then comes the inevitable storming phase, the conflict and friction. The goal is to push through that to norming, where you set the rules of the road, and finally to performing, where the team just clicks and gets stuff done. In a crisis, you don't have time for a long storming phase. A good leader understands these stages so they can get their team into high-performance mode as fast as humanly possible. But even a high-performing team needs fuel in the tank. So when everything is on the line, when the pressure is just immense, what actually keeps people going? What's at the very core of motivation? So, a management theory from a guy named Hertzberg gives us this really powerful insight. He argued that things like salary and decent working conditions, he called them hygiene factors, are just the basics. They're like good hygiene. Not having them causes problems, but having them doesn't make you feel amazing. They can stop you from being dissatisfied, but they don't actually motivate you. Real, lasting motivation comes from the deeper stuff, a sense of achievement, being recognized for your work, having real responsibility, and feeling connected to a bigger purpose. And goal-setting theory shows us how to tap into that purpose-driven energy. The idea is actually really simple. Giving people a clear, specific, and challenging goal is one of the most powerful motivators there is. It acts like a lighthouse in a storm. It focuses everyone's effort and gives them a clear definition of what winning looks like when everything else is pure chaos. So, after all of this, the risk assessments, the strategic plans, the team dynamics, what's the single most important thing to take away? It's this. A resilience plan sitting in a binder on a shelf is completely useless. Real resilience is a living, breathing part of an organization's culture. It's a mindset of being prepared, of being adaptable, and of supporting each other that's shared by everyone, from the top down. So we're left with one final, crucial thought. A crisis isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Using the framework we've just walked through, from understanding your risk to building a blueprint to empowering your people, the only real question left is this. When it happens, will your organization be ready?